Yo, what is up guys, Grim here, and I am back. And of course, the new expansion has been announced. Patch 3.17, Siege of the Atlas. I'm here to talk a little bit about Siege, but there'll be a whole lot of that later. I want to talk more about what to expect from me in the coming weeks for that League Start prep, and what to expect in the future on this channel, as there has been some changes. Okay, so let's dive a little bit into Siege of the Atlas. So of course, this is a massive expansion. It's going to completely change up what we know and have experienced with the game for the last 2 years. Conquerors of the Atlas is out, Siege of the Atlas is in. And there is quite a little bit of information out there already to kind of digest, and we can kind of already infer a few things here. So for the past few iterations of the Atlas and the expansions of Path of Exile, every single January or December, we get a big one that completely reworks the Atlas in some new way. So first of all, we got the Atlas introduced. Next up, we got Elder and Elder Guardians added. Next, we got the Conquerors added. And then finally, we got Maven added, and this is the next one. Siege of the Atlas is going to come with new content, new bosses, new ways to craft, I'm sure, and new items to acquire. And it looks like it's going to be following in the footsteps of previous expansions. I expect we're probably going to be getting 4 new endgame Guardian-style bosses, as well as a new big bad guy. So if you guys didn't know, in previous expansions, they have always shown off the new Guardian and endgame boss with the core supporter packs, with the exceptions of Echoes of the Atlas. So for the initial Atlas release, we got the Guardians and Shaper. For the Conquerors, we got obviously all the Conquerors, as well as Cirrus as a supporter pack. And then for Elder, we got all the Elder Guardians. I believe the last tier was some sort of an Elder themed one as well, if I remember correctly. But overall, it looks like we're following suit here. 4 new Guardians: Imperator, Nullifier, Annihilator, and Ravager, as well as potentially the new endgame big baddie being the Incinerator, which is pretty cool. Overall, these things look pretty badass. I think it's going to be a lot of fun fighting them, and hopefully they take it a step up and we get some new and interesting mechanics in terms of every aspect of the game. So pretty pumped there. It looks like it's going to be, pretty much same as always, high quality, and, nothing to scoff at there. But let's turn our attention a little bit to what has already been discussed in the past. So if we rewind things back a little bit to the Expedition League, the game was under a lot of pressure to improve and to communicate how it was going to do so. Chris Wilson did a bunch of community podcasts with some, big guys in the streaming community. I was fortunate enough to find my way on one of those myself, and a lot of things were discussed around the future of the game. Now, we've already seen some of those things implemented in patch 3.16 Scourge League with the the streamlining of the Atlas, as well as a whole bunch of quality of life related to like currency stacking and stuff like that being implemented. But a lot of the really bulky stuff like concerning itemization, buying items versus crafting them yourself, and all sorts of stuff like that was basically just put on the back burner until the big overhaul, the big expansion. And this is it. This is the time for GGG to deliver all of those promises that they were kind of like alluding to, and everything that they were discussing they would like to do. So just a few keynotes here which I kind of recall, kind of things that were being discussed. There was quite a lot of discussion around an overhaul for the Atlas, really mixing it up, making sure that it was sustainable in the future for big adjustments every single year, instead of, obviously Conquerors, we had the same Atlas for 2 years straight. And then obviously they also wanted it to be modular, whatever that means. That was one of the words that Chris said. So I imagine that we're probably going to see a big change to the Atlas, whether that's, the removal of watchstones or something along those lines. In a Halloween kind of, a bit of a joke kind of post that they made, they said that they were thinking about doing a full Atlas skill tree. That was pretty much a joke though, but it was on there. They have been thinking about it, so maybe we see something like that. Anyway, I imagine it's going to be pretty big, and I don't think anything is off the table. There was also some heavy discussion around itemization, as I mentioned, how players get their items, whether they're just all buying them in Trade League, whether they're making themselves, whether they should be dropped on the floor. And at the heart of a lot of these discussions were influenced items. So influenced items are, a pretty interesting thing in the game, but they can only really be crafted. You can't really find a good influenced item on the floor, limiting the end game options of your character to basically being a full decked out character in crafted gear. You can't really find any of the best items on the floor due to the influence system. So maybe we see some changes to that. And of course, that's going to ripple through the game if there's any sort of modifications to that. With the Conquerors moving out, are we still going to have Conquerors, influenced orbs, Conquerors Exalted orbs? Are we going to have the Awakener orb? If influence is changing, we're going to have the Maven orb. So many things are up in the air, and pretty much everything we know could be turned on its head. So very, very exciting time to be playing Path of Exile. It's fair to say that the theme looks pretty exciting as well. Seems like a continuation of the Maven storyline, and I'm very, very pumped for that. So obviously, we'll have plenty more videos on Siege of the Atlas as more information becomes available. We haven't even gotten the big information dump yet. That's coming, I believe, in a few weeks, maybe under a week now. It says Jan 27th, and then we have the league start 1 week after that. So yeah, plenty of info coming. Obviously, plenty of speculation to be had. But overall, I think it's going to be a big one, and it's going to be an absolute blast. Content for everybody. Let's jump into a bit of footage here while I talk about the other side of this coin. So, of course, bit of a channel update and Grim update in general. So, I haven't been particularly happy with the level of content I've been putting out recently. So, I've gone in the think tank and I've thought, okay, how can I step it up to the next level? What do I want to be doing? So, I have come up with that answer. What to expect from the Grim in the next 2 weeks. So I wouldn't expect too many streams outside of streaming the initial kind of announcement. But we'll watch the dev stream live. We can kind of hang out if you want to do that. I'll be live on Twitch. But outside of that, I'll probably be dark until league start, in which I will league start my stream my league start, and we'll kind of check that out and have a really good time. It's always a lot of fun. But outside of that, I really wanted to focus on YouTube and producing the highest quality videos I possibly can on the most relevant information possible. Now, what does that mean? So I've hired a video editor, a good one. Basically, I want to produce at the level of, Izoro level guides. I said that last league. I'm hopefully going to deliver this time. That's one of my goals this league. And the things I want to focus on for the next couple weeks is league starters. League starters on the level of my 3.16 league starter, the Corrupting Fever Gladiator I put out. I want that level of content or exceeding it. Information, step by step, highly well formatted, but in an awesome packaged up video, hopefully under 30 minutes long, and just has everything you need to know perfectly laid out and all there, including a dedicated crafting video for each of the different stages you're going to need and all of the different items you're going to need to make. Basically, I want it all out there, and I want it to be all inclusive. I don't know for what build it's going to be yet, but it's going to drop around the time that patch notes do. Basically, my plan is to prepare a ton of different builds, shotgun approach, have them all ready, have it all prepped, and then as patch notes drop, obviously some of them are going to get knocked out, but the ones that aren't, I'll just publish those video guides with some amendments, and then bang, you'll have a ton of league starters ready to select and choose from, all of which have been tested, are curated, and are guaranteed to work for what they are being sold as. So yeah, overall, if you enjoyed my league starter this time, expect more of it, expect it more highly polished, more kind of information available, and more tested. So yeah, pretty exciting. So in the next couple days obviously the weeks before the big announcement trailer, you can expect me to kind of be having videos out on the things that I'm testing, some random different topics, like, maybe help you guys kind of create some of your own league starters if you want to kind of venture out on your own and kind of take you through the process of which skills I'm testing and how they're performing. I think that would be pretty fun to talk about, especially because a lot of the actual testing and the kind of theorizing is going to be quite difficult due to the fact that we have no idea about influence and all sorts of things going on with the Atlas. So you really have to make a pretty interesting and well-rounded low budget build. You can't be rocking some influenced items if you don't even know they're going to exist. So it's going to be a pretty interesting task, and I'm well and truly looking forward to it. Okay, so we obviously want the league starters. Obviously, there's going to be a ton of build-related videos coming out. What else can you expect? Well, I also want to continue on making build guides outside of the League Start area. So one thing which I've noticed there's not a whole lot of is build guides for like your second build or an aspirational build or a big project build with step-by-step on how to craft the items yourself and how to get there. I'm thinking, like stuff like a Cockeye Nova, that's not a league starter. You can't league start that, but you do need a build guide for it because it's incredibly complex to get it working and get it working right. But when you do get it working right, it's one of the most insane builds. You can like one-shot all of the endgame bosses. If you go Ice Spear, it's completely crazy, and it's one of the more fun characters you can have in your arsenal. So definitely pretty fun. There's not a whole lot of stuff out there for the really high-end stuff, and it's a lot of fun to kind of work on these characters over the weeks and months into the league, and it gives you something to keep playing and keep working towards. So it's really, really awesome, especially in a new league where you just want to keep playing and you just keep stacking on the currency, you don't know what to spend it on. So there's probably going to be a lot of that, especially with all the new stuff coming out. It's probably going to be a lot of fun to put those together, and I definitely will be interested in, kind of bringing the community together on trying to find, what those builds are and how to optimize them. So expect, build related stuff, league start guides, and post league start, kind of end game build guides, all highly edited, all highly, kind of dense in terms of information. Also on the agenda, I want to get into crafting guides. So those couple pretty well with the build guides. Expect those. They're each going to be their own video for each build guide. So you basically don't have to worry about anything. It's all there. It's going to have like, the rough odds, best ways to craft it, alternative ways to craft it, whether you can do it in SSF, how to get the materials yourself if you want to go down that route, all the good stuff. I did do a bit of a spreadsheet with the help of Elishar for my, Dropping Fever Gladiator build. It's going to be on that level, but better. So you can expect that along with a video from me. So pretty awesome there. And then in the next one, I also want to make crafting for profit videos. So this one is more going to be for the entertainment side of things, because as soon as something is exposed as being profitable, it's probably not going to be anymore. But I thought I'd make them because you can learn a lot of stuff from watching them. They're a lot of fun to watch. They're kind of a mix of gambling plus game mechanics kind of things. So what these will kind of be in terms of format is we'll explain the plan theory of what we're trying to do. So, we'll maybe do a bit of a market analysis and figure out that, okay, hypnotic eye jewels with cooldown reduction are super profitable to craft right now, so that might be the kind of theory. We'll craft the items live. Maybe we'll do like 100 hypnotic eyes. Alex Scour trying to get the mods, see how many things it takes, and kind of like how much we spend, and then we'll kind of explain the process and go through it all, and then we'll cut probably 3 or 4, maybe a week after of everything is sold, and then we'll kind of go over the profit and loss, and I think that'll be really fun. It'll be a good video to watch. I know I'd enjoy watching that, especially with some highlights and some good smart editing. So that'll be on the agenda, and I think that'll be pretty fun, especially if we get into crafting some really high-end stuff. I think a lot of people, if we want to craft some mirror items, that could be really, really fun to kind of go through that process and see how many mirrors we can, get on the item, and then maybe we can even make more mirror items. That could be pretty cool. I think overall crafting is definitely one of the more fun things in the game. I think more people need to be exposed to it, and crafting your own items and crafting items to sell is definitely a blast. So last thing I want to do here is solidify a lot of the mainstay currency strategies in the game with highly produced, timeless kind of videos that, are good. They're out there until obviously they overhaul or remove a lead mechanic or something like that. Betrayal, for example, having a video that you can just point someone to, there you go. There's your betrayal, guide. It explains everything. It's how you can make money off it. It's why, everything. It's all there. I can't count how many times people on stream ask me, how do you do betrayal? Is there a guide for it? And I can't refer anyone with confidence to one which I know is perfectly accurate. So, may as well make my own. For example, a lot of people don't know that, the blighted map drop chance from an oil chest in maps, it's 15%. So most people don't know some really common knowledge things at the higher player base, it's 15%. That's allows you to calculate exactly how much chaos per hour you're going to make buying blighted scarabs, etc. And all those sorts of things. It's really important information, and it's just not out there yet. The chances of all the breach types encounter, all sorts of stuff like that. That should all be public, and it should be out there. It should be timeless, and I definitely want to make those things. So yeah. Pretty good. And then of course everything else I have been known for will still be there, so we're making that. If I have an idea like I always do, I'll always pursue that as well. But that's the overall goal of the channel. Plenty to do. and hopefully it all goes well. So if any of that sounds good to you guys, let me know down in the comments. If you're particularly interested in any of the kind of things I've talked about here, definitely let me know down below. And if you have anything that you'd like to see in terms of league start, things that I should test, definitely let me know down below as well. You know, if you're like particularly aware that, you know, mage skeletons are definitely pretty OP, but no one's talking about them, for example, definitely let me know. I will test absolutely everything and like make sure it's all mapped out and see if there's any sort of choke points. And I will, if it's a good league starter, it will be on the list. If it doesn't get nerfed, there'll be a guide on it. So that's kind of how it'll be going. Hopefully we can get everything done that we're looking to do this league. And lastly, I'm planning on sticking around this time. No big things coming up. Touch wood, and hopefully we can stick it out with the best of them like Mathel over on the YouTube and keep pumping that content all year round. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, this little bit of an update. I'm pumped about Siege of the Atlas. Hopefully you are too. Let me know what you think, and until the next time, cheers.